Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this is from Scientology-lies.com. It's kind of like it's a graph that takes you to other sites or other documents. Illegal imprisonment. There's evidence that they are. So obviously I can't read this on my phone. I'm going to be reading on my tablet, so bear with me. Two Scientology programs call for false imprisonment. How about that, FBI, Clearwater PD, LAPD? The introspection rundown. Children take that as well. Isn't that interesting? Applied to Scientologists, including children, deemed to have had a psychotic break, like Lisa McPherson. Who's the other lady? Whitney Mills. And the RPF. Scientology's labor camps. Can also include auditing in there. Especially the children being audited in these small rooms, told they are not allowed to leave. But isn't it interesting? Allegedly, LRH was always elusive and could just never be caught, could he? Like he was some kind of genius character that just knew how to get away from the CIA or the FBI, Homeland Security. He allegedly had a higher IQ than all of them, right? Please. Okay, the first one I'm going to read, let's see if I can get to it. Michael Patterson's notarized statements describes being held against his will in Clearwater and on the Freewinds. So there's that Freewinds again. Anyone know if Rinder, who else? Rathburn, Armstrong, were they on the Freewinds? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay. This is dated 20 September 1997. From Michael Patterson, Beverly Hills, California, 90211. To whom it may concern, I strongly feel that it is my civic duty. Imagine that, you guys, someone having civic duty. To the attention of the competent authorities of the United States and other concerned countries, a matter of severe abuses and destructive activities by the Church of Scientology. I am at their disposition for more information on all of this. Imagine they've had all this information since 1997. I was shocked at the use of top celebrities by Scientology to try and give an impression of it which per my own experiences is a false impression. When I compare the ridiculous charges made by Scientology against the German government with what I know Scientology underlined has been doing itself, I find a very strong similarity indeed. I have decided to speak out about this publicly. Imagine that, you guys. Hold on, I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys. I was, until earlier this year, one of Scientology's celebrities. I am a professional artist having a 25-year career internationally with over 99% sales. I was in Scientology for 23 years. Did very many courses and reached the highest available level of New OT8. That means he knew about Xenu. My knowledge of the inner workings of Scientology is extensive. I have information about the many instances of abuses of current and former Scientology members and of lies Scientology has generated about itself to give a wrong public impression. Among the many things I can relate, here are just a few from recent times. 1. From 1991 to 1996, I was the subject of vicious machinations by several churches of Scientology to destroy my name and repute, and to involve me in expensive justice handling within the organization. Apart from the horrific emotional stress, over 5 years it cost me well over $120,000 to clear my name of accusations of things I had never done in the first place. I have full documentation of all these multiple abuses. Yet all these agencies act like they don't know about fair game. Could it be that they created it? Two. In June of 1996, I was held against my will in the Scientology Clearwater, Florida facility in order to pay $7,400 before they would let me out of the room. I did not want to pay for what the 2 staff members' names. Stop protecting these scum. The 2 staff members insisted I must have. And what ensued was a verbal battle, emotional trauma, and an attempt at financial extortion. After a time, I managed to escape the physical detention, but 2 Sea Org members chased me right out into the streets of Clearwater. Clearwater PD, how about that? To try to recapture me. I did not pay the money. This incident is on file with the Clearwater Police Department. Wow, isn't that interesting that the Clearwater PD knows all about it? Wiki wiki, everyone. 3. In June of 1991, I was forced to pay, despite vehement protestations, the sum of $7,400 to Scientology on the Freewind ship. Well, that's a great place to isolate people. The ruse used on that Wednesday was that if I did not pay, when they would withhold my then they would withhold my passport from me until I did pay. They did so, and I had to pay the money to get it back. So that's their tool of oppression and blackmail. Imagine all the children that don't have this option. For at the end of 1996, I was subjected to a horrible kind of religious deprogramming in the Scientology Fort Harrison Hotel. This was done using an e-meter by a top official of the Religious Technology Center. There's that Fort Harrison Hotel again. RTC. Oh, here we go, guys. We got a name. Namely, Mr. Marty Rathburn. Huh. I was interrogated for several hours on the most intimate personal religious beliefs, Christian, and his actions were designed clearly to get me to give up my Christian religious beliefs in exchange for RTC's eligibility authorization to read a confidential publication about a defective OT level 1, OT level. I had previously completed OT 7. See, they wanted to get him to pay twice, too. Evil. I hope Rathburn gets his karma. His utter contempt for my religious beliefs were all too apparent. I guess all are not welcome, huh? He felt that all other religions apart from Scientology should be destroyed and probably would be in time by Scientology using RTC's programs of eligibility as a means of forcing people to give up other faiths. I also had to undergo many hours of false data removal to try to get me to realize that the only valid religion was Scientology. It did not work. My considered personal opinion is that Scientology is definitely not a religion. These are a few of the many things I can testify to. I declare under penalty of perjury under California laws that the above is true and correct per my own personal experiences. 20 September 1997, Sea Beach, California. Signed, Michael P. Pattison. And then here's all the official information. Imagine all of these are on file. First page is really hard to read. The Independent discusses baby watchings, tending to Scientologists. You see how they code the words, you guys? If you guys pay real close attention, a lot of the ex-members, as well as newspapers, news companies, television stations, etc. And I don't know if the media outlets are aware of it, because maybe they're getting things from either Scientologists or ex-Scientologists. But they've merged children into all these words. They merged children into the word Scientologist. They merged children into the word members. And there's a lot of other words that they use. It's kind of like cloaking children. Just pay real close attention. Baby watchings, tending to Scientologists who are kept isolated in a locked room. That means it includes children, you guys. It describes 4 cases, 3 in England, 1991 and 1993, and 1 in California, no date, plus several people, both prisoners and guards, receiving psychiatric care to deal with the resulting trauma. Okay. You know what it probably is? Hold on, you guys. I'm going to try to look this one up. So right now I can't find the newspaper article, but I just found a new way to look stuff up, you guys. That's it. It's like a, how'd I say it? Like a magnified, ginormous, worldwide microfiche. Yeah. I'm sure it'd be easy to find these statements, though. Okay, let's see. Okay, Janice, make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. Okay, Janice Hayward's court documents describes her attempts to obtain a promised refund, including an attempt to forcibly confine her to the Scientology org against her will. Oh, another woman being locked up. Phoenix, Arizona, December 21st, 1992. Hold on, guys. Okay, you guys, unfortunately, a lot of these links are void and null. However, I think you little sleuths would be able to find some of this, because court records, you can't destroy those. I don't think. So I'm just going to read the boxes. And let's see if some of the links go through. Roxanne Friend's sworn court declaration states she was forced to participate in auditing that she didn't want, just like the children, and was prevented from calling the police. That's another crime. Finally, she was kidnapped, another crime, drugged against her will, another crime, and held against her will, another crime. Clearwater PD, they're fine with all that. Similar to when Aaron was arrested, and then they later said it wasn't an arrest, and they actually had him handcuffed in the bathroom. Can't wait to see how that lawsuit turns out. Okay, that's a broken link. An anonymous Australian citizen's police report describes being imprisoned under the introspection rundown for more than 3 months. 1994, Australia. That link does not go through. Dee Rowe says that she and her husband were held against their will at a management seminar in Glendale, California, which turned out to be a Scientology front. Cherokee County Herald, December 12, 1990, and Time, May 6, 1991. Okay, I'm just going to stick with the All these accounts of people being falsely imprisoned. And what are the authorities doing to break down this pretend religion, Marty Rathburn? Marianne Conan was confined in a boarded-up room by her husband and parents. Isn't that great, you guys? Talk about turning family members against each other, just like they did in the Nazi regime. They also did that in the communist regime in Russia and the USSR and all those Eastern Bloc countries. They did the same thing. It's how they stayed in power. Obviously, it didn't work very well. Let's see, this is LA Times. We know we can count on them. Not. You know what? That's easy enough. All they did, somebody went in and broke the links. Big whoop-de-doo. That's kindergarten IT hacking. Bob Geary and his wife Dorothy state that she required hospitalization after being held captive for more than 2 weeks in California after becoming involved with Sterling Management, a Scientology front group. That was in San Francisco. Maura Hutchinson describes her 3 assignments to the RPF and her escape from a train after she was kidnapped. Dennis Ehrlich describes being sent to the RPF's RPF in Clearwater and seeing a woman, Lynn Froyland, chained in a small back room. Dennis himself was placed in a 7x7 chicken wire cell. I want to bring this up again. If any of you guys have studied or researched satanic ritual abuse, in satanic ritual abuse, they do a lot of these, locking children in cages. I don't know if they do it with adults as much, and chaining them. This didn't come from nothing. How do you think they found all the torture methods in our militaries? Stacey Young's sworn declaration, I already read that one, describes security guards imprisoning members of the RPF in Hemet, California, along with brutal interrogation technique. You guys, this is just more evidence that the police are kind of in on all this stuff. It's my belief. Birgitta Dagnell describes being imprisoned on the RPF in Denmark, including freezing conditions and inhumane food supplies. Imagine the children going through that. She states that there were 82 people in the RPF when she was there. Do the people include children? Because it usually does. Peter Ford mentions sleep deprivation on the RPF and quotes policy allowing maximum of 6 hours sleep per night. 1983. That's sleep deprivation is 100% MK Ultra, mind control. Why do you think all the militaries do it? It's to entrain your mind. Marjorie Wakefield's affidavit. Oh, wait, I skipped one. Hannah Whitfield describes in detail her lengthy imprisonment in the RPF. She also mentions Lynn Froyland. See Dennis Ehrlich above. Marguerite Wakefield's affidavit, I've read that as well, describes being imprisoned in the RPF in Clearwater, Florida, after being kept under guard for 3 weeks in Long Beach, California, in Clearwater, Florida. Annie Rosenblum's declaration describes closed-door guards and constant surveillance, even when going to the bathroom, while on the RPF. She says there were 130 to 150 people in the RPF when she was there, 1978. Yet all these agencies don't know anything about it, right? They don't know anything about the child RPF or the child's RPF's RPF. St. Thomas reports people being locked up at the bottom of an elevator shaft. No date. It doesn't say the location. Art student describes being locked up after refusing to sever all ties with his family. Wait for him to go. Put your family before this idiotic cult. Jerry Armstrong describes his own experience on the RPF and states, I have seen people picked up bodily by big men. Which men would that be? Let's see, I don't know. There's a lot of tall, big men in Scientology. And taken to the RPF, kicking, struggling, and screaming in protest. I have seen many people held and guarded, no date. Which one was that? That's in Clearwater. Robert Vaughn Young states that he was on the RPF for 16 months and was also assigned to the RPF's RPF. He says he met a 12-year-old child who had been assigned to the RPF. So what is this, 1997? Isn't that when Serge was in there? Well, they're very notorious for putting the children that are sexually assaulted, raped, into the RPF. Yeah. 12-year-old child who had been assigned to the RPF. He quotes Scientology policy, demonstrating that it is not a voluntary program. No date. Let me click on this. Let's see if we got it here. Scientology is the upper part of the Scientology bridge. Its focus is the whole track, multiple lives of the eternal spirit with techniques purported to produce the state of operating Thetan. 3 people describe imprisonment in the chain lockers. There we go again. Including children. Not all dated, one reference to 1968. Miss X describes 3 incidents of false imprisonment. No date from posts to alt religion. Scientology dated October 1996. One incident has since been largely verified by A. That's in Los Angeles. Now at this point, you guys, it's just pretty hysterical, comical, and diabolical to see all these police acting all nice with the Scientologists. It's repugnant, disgusting. A wrongful death lawsuit being pursued by Lisa McPherson. Lisa McPherson's family states that she was held against her will. Born again WOG. It's a racial slur. I don't believe in that. Describes a woman who had gone insane being locked up. I don't think this is going to go through, but let's try. Okay, let's see. Mental treatment and the sea of... I'm kind of scanning. I want to find out. Oh, so this is a statement from this Dio Morto. Doesn't Dio mean God? I have in my lifetime known 7 people who have been placed in a mental hospital. 5 were Scientologists. The first person I ever met was placed in a mental hospital. Got there as a result of processing more later. If you as a Scientologist and maybe a member of CCHR, yeah, Jan Eastgate, she covered up child abuse, and you know what her penalty was? To be promoted or kept as the president of the CCHR. Okay, I'm not going to read that whole thing. Okay, right here, let's see. And thanks, Zeno, for that. Way back when I was a boy, about 12, I got to see my first psychotic break. A woman at the local org was having some processing by blank. See how they so afraid to say the names? Is he still active, anyone know? And she totally lost it. And then they keep on. Have to wonder where some of these people are going in the afterlife. They should be scared, very scared. Frank Notoro says he was assaulted and illegally detained when he picketed to get a refund. Oh, LAPD'd be all about that. Apparently back in those days, back in the old days, back in the 70s and the 80s, the gangs, like the Los Angeles gangs, hated Scientology. Interesting, isn't it? So I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.